I feel like it was necessary for me to come on here and have a discussion, or just not necessarily a discussion. If you all decide to chime in, I would actively engage with you all. But I wanted to come on here and just kind of like share some information. All right, so the events of my day went like this. I got up, said my prayers. After I said my prayers, I checked my emails, checked social media messages and whatnot, cut my phone off, and cut off the notifications for my social media platform. Yo, what's the deal, Mike Jones? What's the question, Kim, folks? And I'm gonna continue to speak until you type out your question. All right, so I cut my phone off and I start working on this movie script. Once I get in a satisfying amount of hours into development of the script, I reactivate. I cut my phone back on, reactivate my notifications in. An associate of mine from the other side had reached out to me and was like, hey, did you see what so on and so forth posted? I feel like that's directed towards you. You should go on there and blase, blase, this, that, and third. First and foremost, I try my best not to react to situations. I try to respond when I can, when I am not emotionally dysregulated or emotionally unbalanced. So when I read the post that the individual made, it stood out to me that this person is trying to incite something. This person is trying to instigate something. This person is trying to trick another person out of their position. Since I have created, well, I'm not going to say created, since I have been actively uploading content and making videos and whatnot, especially as it pertains to Imperial Court's history and how our history intersect with other housing developments history, so on and so forth. A lot of people has been in opposition to my narrative and some of my stories and some of my content, which is cool. It's all right. Not everybody's going to be in agreement to the things that I share, and it's cool. We can agree to disagree. Me creating this platform is motivating certain people to want to create their other platforms, and what they're trying to do is bait me. It's far too often that people say, well, I don't think that you should be talking about things that happened before you were born and happened in the 1970s and the 1980s. In order for these youngsters to get a better understanding of where we come from and where we're going, they have to be educated to the history of these communities, and not even just the gang, just the community, because it was a point in time to where the Nickerson Gardens, Jordan Downs, Imperial Courts, Hacianas, and everything in between was on cordial terms. Everybody was cordial. Everybody was cool. It was about this. And one of the terminology that they used frequently was blood. What's up, young blood? 1960s, early 70s, that era, right? But getting back to this, it's a term that's called agent provocateur. What an agent provocateur is a person who tried to incite and instigate certain things to get certain reactions and responses in order to create hostile environments, situations, or produce violence. In 1992, the brothers from Watts came together and they created the first gang peace treaty that was successful, right? Los Angeles Police Department, working in conjunction with the Los Angeles Sheriff Department, they sabotaged it. When they sabotaged it, they wanted to revamp it and recreate it to where all the funding would go through them, all the power would be possessed by them. They felt like it was a great idea. Hey, peace and blessings to you, Brother Yusuf. They felt like it was a great idea, but it wasn't a great idea if the African Americans in Watts and certain other parts of Los Angeles was able to sustain it by themselves and control the agency of it. So the Los Angeles Police Department created this initiative that said, you know what, we want to work hand in hand with the community members and the individuals in the gangs so that we can combat the rising level of gang related shootings. So now the LAPD is in a position to write these checks because all the money is going through the LAPD. So the LAPD employed individuals that was in a community that had influence, that had respect amongst the youngsters. So they'll get them on contract. They'll get these individuals under these contracts, and these individuals will go into the housing development and seek out the young influential gangsters. They'll employ the young influential gangsters under the guise of interventionists and preventionists, right? So this is where the bullshit comes in at. They start telling these youngsters who are, living in poverty-stricken conditions and whatnot, hey man, I may not be able to give you, continue to pay you this $5,000 that I'm paying you, or this $2,000 a month that I'm paying you, because it hasn't been enough going on in the communities. Now, if shootings just start to happen in the community, I'll be able to keep y'all on payroll, and I may be able to give y'all, bonus pay. That type of verbiage make these youngsters go out and go to the other sets in the community to commit shootings so that they can continue to get this money that they're getting to be interventionists and preventionists. When they did that, certain individuals was, incentivizing these youngsters for going out and committing gang-related shootings and homicides. They give them upwards to $10,000 whenever, a gang-related shooting, happen, when their handlers, I guess you can say handlers or supervisor, insinuated it was time to go out and, shake up the waters and whatnot. For those of you who don't know, that's government funding terrorism. So that's why this topic don't really get a lot of light. Light, That's why this topic don't really get a lot of light, and a lot of people really don't address these type of topics, because in order to address it and address the atrocities and the wickedness and the corruption that's associated with it, you have to hold the government accountable, because the government is the ones who are paying the money to these agencies who goes out in contract with these locals or these people in the communities, these fake ass community activists. The government is funding this. That's government funding terrorism. So getting back to the agent provocateur, this is one individual, man. He's a confidential informant, I believe. I believe he's a confidential informant, because every time something goes on, he's always in the thick of it. He's always in the midst of it. You feel what I'm saying? They go into the community and they get the influential people, because the influential people have the access to the youngsters. These influential individuals can go to these youngsters and say, hey, cuz, hey, what happened the other night, man? I heard the homies went over there and, did so on and so forth. Oh, big homie. Man, that was the homie, wooty woo woo woo. He had got into it with the wooty whoop niggas in Hollywood. And then, Cub went over there. Man, that nigga went over there busting, big homie. That nigga wooty woo woo. Yeah, it was little wooty woo woo woo. Man, what? Man, why would that little nigga do that, man? You know who gave him the pistol? Man, I think the big homie Wooty Woo Woo gave him the pistol, because when we came back, he was like, hold on, cuz, I'll be right back. And he went over there and I seen him knock on unit Wooty Woo Woo Woo. And then when he came back, I got out the car. That's when him and Wooty Woo Whoop and Wooty Woo Whoop went over there like, man, them niggas got it cracking on them niggas. These youngsters not knowing what they're doing, you indirectly snitching on your kinfolks, on your comrade, because the big homie or influential homie then came to you, and you think that you're honoring the code, or you think that you got the hip news, or you in a loop, so you want to put the big homie in a loop as if you're doing something. But this person goes back and he writes a report and he submits the report to the Los Angeles Police Department. So now they already got the names, they got the description of the car, they already know what unit to go to see what's going on. So they about to go to this unit. When the LAPD or the sheriffs go to this unit and knock on the door, if one of the homegirls in there and they say, oh, we about to take your kids, 7 times out of 10, a woman is going to tell when you threaten the safety and security of her kids. So, oh yeah, he did come over here that night, whoop whoop. Now they got motive. They can place you at the scene of the crime. They got a description of the car. They got a description of the The weapon and all this. Hold on, let me get into some of these comments. I got a question. Mike Jones, I'm waiting on your question. Oh, okay. I see. I feel like y'all should let Mexicans fend for themselves in the feds. Kim folks, I've never been to the feds. So with me not having that experience or me not ever being in the federal federal correctional system and all that, I can't speak on that. But I don't want to say Mexicans, if I wouldn't say Mexicans, I would say Sureños, because Sureños, they don't like blacks. Sureños, they actively target blacks and they don't give a fuck about blacks, you know what I mean? So I will say that if blacks and Mexicans from California or the West Coast, if they do ride with each other in the feds, I would be in favor of that, but I wouldn't be in favor of racist Sureños participating in it. I wouldn't be in favor of, Crip brothers and blood brothers and, things of that nature embracing, Sureños who have an avid hate for blacks. So I hear you on that. But I don't want to generalize it and just say all Mexicans, because I believe in the feds. You got the Paisas. I think they ride border brother, and I'm not using racial slurs or derogatory terminology to describe a certain ethnic group or whatnot. That's not what I'm doing. But I believe that the Paisas ride border brothers. Then they also have Mexicans from the cartels and whatnot that's in there. They got so many different groups of Mexicanos that's in the feds. You feel what I'm saying? And some of them are good people, you know what I mean, excellent people. But the Sureños is the ones who have a active hate and dislike for African Americans. I'm from New Orleans. I punked a Southsider from LA at a gas station before. They not so tough outside of Cali. Yeah, I would say that most of them aren't so tough out of Cali, but also a lot of them aren't so tough when they're not high in numbers. When their numbers not up, they don't really do all this politic and the shit that you see them do in these communities and these correctional institutions where they are the majority. When they're not the majority, they're almost just the same as other individuals. But when their population is up, when they have the numbers and the numbers is in their favor, then they get to the politic and then the tripping and whatnot. You know what I mean? Anything else, Ken folks? And what I want y'all to be aware of and look out for is these agent provocateurs, man. Every community got them. These agent provocateurs is confidential informants. They get paid by either the local government or the federal government to provide information. These individuals walk like us, they talk like us, they got, that swag, they got that image, you know what I mean? They may be riding in a foreign, they may have on some change, they got the image. And the reason why they have the image because the government is set back and they know everything that we like, everything that we dislike. They know the ins and out of us. And they know that if you bestow a bag upon these agent provocateurs in these impoverished communities, that the youngsters is going to follow that individual who has the image of a person who's getting the bag. So that puts that agent provocateur in a position to where he can get information and he can get things done, that works in favor of these agencies and the government and all this type of shit. I believe Whack 100 is a rat. Bro. Agent provocateur. Agent provocateur at his finest, Mike Jones. Agent provocateur, Kim folks. What does Whack 100 do? He get on Clubhouse and he scream loud and yeah, whoop 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 and fuck that motherfucker blood and whoop 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 and all that. He go on Adam 22 show, Jumper, and he does the same thing. Agent provocateur. These motherfuckers is confidential informants, homie. And the thing that they do, they create division between our folks. You know what I mean? They want to increase that gap between us to where we can't come together and have the dialogue that we need to have so that we can start healing and we can start, recovering from these self-inflicted wounds that we put upon ourselves. You feel what I'm saying? So do I believe that Whack 100 is an agent provocateur? I most definitely do believe that Whack 100 as well as 600 is agent provocateurs. And I told you what they do They go and they get influential people in these communities, and then they turn them out to be confidential informants. They're not about to go in a community and get the bust ass nigga that everybody be making go to the stove, slapping back of the head. They're not about to go get the young cat that's committed to school. They're not about to go get the drunkard dude that's on a street corner. They're going to go get influentials who they're going to go get individuals who have some influence. They're going to go get individuals who have a name in these sets. You feel what I'm saying? To where they can collect information, to where they can get data and turn it over to their handlers and whatnot. So I honestly believe that WAC 100 is an agent provocateur, confidential informant. Same thing with 600 and anybody else that aligns themselves with WAC 100. Even this new dude, Loose Cannon. I believe he may be an agent provocateur or a confidential informant, but most agent provocateurs are confidential informants. That's the thing. They're working on contract of the federal government. But you know, the federal government is always gonna keep its hands clean. So that's why they fund these. So that's why they fund certain organizations or whatnot, and they get these corrupt community activists to come and they give them the check. So if it ever blow back, it'd be like, oh no, we didn't know anything about this. But that's all on so on and so forth. That's on that person. We hold him accountable. He's responsible for this. I'm from New Orleans. BG never rat. BG know about extremely a lot of stuff he could have snitched on, but he didn't. Though even local news mad he ain't rat. I don't know, Kim, folks. I haven't really looked into that situation with BG because I feel like for me, to a degree, it's irrelevant. And I love BG music. I grew up on that Cash Money New Orleans No Limit shit, right? But I feel like it like sometimes we focus more on irrelevant shit than irrelevant shit. We should be talking about how we create these agencies, organizations, and companies that detour our people from a life of violence, crime, and fratricide to being productive members of society, to where we don't have to go out there and put in no work, kill nobody, or pick up this dope pack, or introduce this youngster to sipping codeine with promethazine and all this shit, because we're more focused on making quotas, getting ready for audits, and getting ready to take vacations to the south of France, and putting money together to create this swap meet in the middle of the hood, the first hip hop swap meet. We're gonna get this swap meet. We're gonna employ individuals from our community, and we're going to show individuals in our communities how to operate, start, and create these businesses and whatnot. That's what we should be focused on. Hip hop is a multi-billion-dollar industry that other multi-billion-dollar industries utilize to sell billions of dollars worth of product. Why aren't we in control of hip hop? Why aren't we in control of the music, the media, the publications that tell our story? When you go to Saudi Arabia, it's not people from Iran that's controlling their natural resource, that's controlling their biggest money maker. So why is Jews and Caucasians controlling hip hop when hip hop was created by us? We should be finding a way to where we can take back hip hop, so that we can all become multimillionaires and whatnot, instead of worried about who killed who did this and who did that. We should be more focused on improving our community. We should be more focused on these child molesters that's touching on these little girls and these little boys on a hush hush, and traumatizing them, fucking their lives up, because the trauma is just too much. So they become promiscuous, or they become hermits, and they don't know how to navigate through this shit called life. We should be worried more about catching these agent provocateurs who are fanning the flames of ignorance, destruction, separation, and failure in our community. You know what I mean? These people who are government operatives is coming in our community, and they're perpetuating a cycle of ignorance, violence, destructions, and failure. Like, that's what we should be focused on. We should be focused on creating an economic system for ourselves, to where single mothers don't have the burden of trying to take care of their kids by themselves. We should be able to create something and make fathers get in their motherfucking households and go be a motherfucking father, nigga. Because you trying to be something that don't have no motherfucking substance. We should be holding niggas accountable, homie. That's what we should be focusing on, cuz we losing out here, homie. We losing, and it makes no sense for us to have all this talent, for us to be so artistic, for us to be just these amazing melanated carbonated people, but yet we at the bottom of the totem pole. Everybody builds their companies, everybody builds up their reputation and things of that nature off of our blood, sweat, and tears. When is we gonna say no more? African Americans, I don't really like to use that word, but carbonated, melanated individuals who are here in America, they are a special kind of people. Everybody in the world give ear and give eye and witness the things that we do. Everybody. We should be creating this economic system to where we can go over there and go to Africa and connect with our kin folks over there and start building our own Fortune 500 companies and you know, these big conglomerate organizations or whatnot. It makes no sense why there isn't no multi-billionaire people of color. There should be individuals that look like us. They got $50 billion and things of that nature, but we can't do it individually, and we can't do it by continually being sidetracked and distracted by the shit that's going on Love and Hip Hop and the shit that's going on, you know, where these people create this content and they want to, you know, talk about, you know, this person doing this and this person doing that. If we're not in control of the content, and if we're not, you know, using the money to put us in a position to where we can create an economic system by creating our own black businesses and corporations and employing individuals that look like us, then it's like, what the fuck are we doing? If we ain't getting these kids off the block and into the schoolhouse, then what the fuck are we doing? If we ain't telling these kids that there's alternative to conflict, you don't have to pick up a gun and go take a person's life and then go have to do the next 15 to 115 years in prison. If we're not changing the dynamics and strategically changing the narrative, then it's like, what the fuck are we doing? We have been obsessed with these false narratives created by these Caucasian media outlets for so long, man, that it's like, if it isn't rooted in drama, if it isn't rooted in violence and chaos, then it doesn't resonate with us. We gotta change that shit, man. Our lives can't just be centered around confusion, conflict, violence, and these fratricidal activities that we engage in when we kill one another. We gotta change that shit. And I'm not disrespecting you, Kim, folks. It's just we being so obsessed, man, with the shit that's going on in the media to where we're not even focusing on the actuality of life. That's why the police is targeting us and killing us, and it's no real consequences to killing an unarmed black person or an unarmed black woman. We failing our women, and we failing our children, and we ultimately failing our community. These women cannot teach young boys on how to become men. It doesn't work that way. A boy have to be introduced to a man in order to learn how to be a man. Let's start teaching these young brothers how to be men. Let's start teaching these young brothers conflict resolution. Let's start teaching these young brothers how to compose themselves when they feel overwhelmed and flooded with emotions. Take a time to breathe. Before you do it, before you react, take 3 minutes to think about the pros and cons of it and then give it a response. Let's start exposing some of these hip-hop artists that's creating these messages of fuck a black woman, kill a black child, fuck the black community, because ultimately that's what the message is. Go poison your people. Let's kill each other. We don't have no value. We don't have no worth. Fuck us. Fuck the black woman that produced the black lives that populates our community. Fuck her. She has no value. She's akin to a snake or a dog. Fuck the black baby because he come from a black bitch, so he has no value. He's akin to a snake or a dog. And fuck the black man. He has no value. He's lower than a snake. He don't have no worth to him. That's what the message says. When I know Your mama ain't no bitch. Your grandmama ain't no bitch. And your daughter ain't no bitch. Your son ain't no hoodlum. Your son isn't a person who deserves to be written off as soon as he comes out of the womb of your child's mother, your child's mother's, come out of the womb of your baby mama. I don't really like to use baby mama. But this is the type of shit that we got to start exploring, homie. It's time for us to get uncomfortable. We got to get uncomfortable. It's time for us to start welcoming challenges, because challenges build the mind like physical labor builds the body. It's time for us to reconstruct our communities. That's what we have to do, man. Fuck these motherfucking rappers. Fuck these fake ass celebrities that don't give a fuck about our people and the plight of the the black family and all that, man. Fuck them, man. We gotta start focusing on you and I. I'm gonna teach my son not to pick up a gun and come kill your son, and I appreciate if you do the same thing. I'm gonna teach my son to always be honest and to be open and don't mislead and don't deceive young ladies. If you're the type of young dude who has a big sexual appetite for women, then communicate that. Don't lead this woman into a relationship under the false belief that you're going to deal with her exclusively. Let that be known. Hey, look, check this out, Queen. I don't mean no disrespect. I'm in a point in my life to where I'm exploring my options, and I have several females that I'm dealing with at the moment. So this isn't anything that I can commit myself to, because I have this, I have that, and I got this going on. If you can't accept that, I appreciate that love. I understand. God bless you on your journey. You know what I mean? But we got to be open and honest about this, because sometimes we hurt our women so deeply that it traumatizes them to where they don't know how to love. They don't want to receive love, and they're aggressive. You know what I mean? And, all this type of shit. But hold on, let me read some of these comments and I'm going to jump off. Yeah, happy Sunday to all my brothers. Hey, happy Sunday, Ryan Rowe. Much love and respect, kinfolk. What about Big U? I don't want to do that, man. I say this, man. That's neighborhood business. And the neighborhoods have to deal with that as they see fit. I don't want to touch that. But then again, as a black man, it's like, how could we just sweep it up under the carpet and just say, oh, this neighborhood business, when these individuals have entered into these contracts that paralyze and stunt the growth of our community? Like, yes, a lot of people's is in bed with the government. Yes, a lot of these influential individuals is in the bed with the fucking law enforcement and all this type of shit. Come on, man, it's a well-known fact. It's obvious. But the thing that individuals like to do now, if you don't got no paperwork, then it ain't real. No, it's extremely real. Intuitively, we can feel it. We know. We are individuals who can see without actually seeing, who can feel without actually feeling and touching. Like, we know we're that inclined spiritually, so we know when motherfuckers is moving wrong. We know when people are betraying the people. We know these Judas. We know them, like. And then the way that people try to get around it is saying that if you don't have no paperwork, then it don't exist. But you can look at the state of our communities and see that this shit does exist. Look at the statistics of us that's incarcerated. This shit is real, and it does exist. It's real. And it's affecting all of us. If we just gonna be honest and call a ball, a strike, we know who's confidential informants. We know who's working with the government. Like, it's evident. It's apparent. But how do we navigate through that? How do we parry that? How do we create an alternative to it? This game making shit is a wrap, bro. It's over. So when I get on here and I say I'm a Crip, I am a Crip. Community resurrection and progress. That's why I get on here and I try to talk about solutions and not problems. I'm not getting on here saying fuck these niggas and fuck them niggas and kill these niggas and kill them niggas. Like, I'm not doing that. That shit is played out, man. Like, at some point in time, we have to get tired of seeing our women paraded as the epitome of what the fuck a bitch is. A virtuous woman. They put our women up there like that. My daughter is a carbonated, melanated young sister, man. And so is y'all daughters, cuz we gotta change this narrative. Fuck this sexy red shit. Fuck this Cardi B shit. Fuck these city girl shit. Let's get back to popularizing Erica Badu's and Lauryn Hill's and Jill Scott's and those neo-Afrocentric sisters who believe that, who know that the closest thing to God on this planet is a woman. You can put whatever adjective you want in front of it, before that. I just don't want people to think that I'm a racist and things of that nature. Because when we start talking about the advancement of us and the reshaping and the rebuilding of our families and whatnot, then we become racist. Whenever we point out racism against us, then we become the racist. We don't have the power to be racist. Racism is based on, I don't want to get into all that shit. I'm going to get into some of these comments and then I'm going to log off. I got to start prepping dinner for my daughter. I'm from New Orleans, BG, I read that. What about Big U? Tap that like button for broski. Appreciate it, Kim folks. 3 dudes got pulled over. One admit it's his gun. All BG only said he had no knowledge who the gun was for. Okay, I'ma shut up about it. Then BG didn't snitch, brother. I don't really want to get into that, but if some guys got pulled over in a car and I say it's my gun and the other occupants of the car say we didn't know it was a gun in the car, we didn't know nothing about a gun. If I say it's my gun and those people actually said what you said that they said, then that's not snitching. But if BG said it's his gun, that's snitching. But I don't really want to get into the snitch shit and all that, man. I can dig it though. Let's start with the protection of our people. Yes, indeed. Where we start. Everybody do their part. If I do my part as a black man and you do your part as a black man, like I just said again, like I just said earlier, I'm not about to tell my son to pick up a gun and come and murder your son. I'm not about to tell my son that it's okay to womanize, demean, manipulate, and play games with your daughter. I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to teach my son conflict resolution skills. That's how we start. The reunification of us as a people and the resurrections of our community. But every man must do his part. I got to teach my son to be stronger than his emotions. An emotional man is an incapacitated and weak man because we're not supposed to be ruled by our emotions. We're supposed to be pragmatic, logical, and reason. You utilize reason when we engage in whatever it is that we engage in. So that's how we start. Every man must do his part. A part of me doing my part is trying to connect with like-minded individuals so that we can have these type of think tanks and we can have this type of dialogue to where we can collectively say, hey, I think that's the best direction for us. Why do you feel like that's the best direction for us? Because I feel like that's the land of milk and honey. Milk and honey. Why do you feel like that's the land of milk and honey? Milk and honey. And I'm not saying it to challenge you. I'm just saying it so that we can have all the data present so we all can collectively make a decision on whether that is actually the land of milk or honey. Some of our kinfolks got to stop feeling, stop becoming defensive when a person just asks you for clear instructions. We need clear instructions because we see what the lack of clear instruction get us to where we killing each other for 30 and 40 years. We killing our biggest allies. We killing our biggest support. Like, that makes no sense. Even in the Bible, it says that a house divided cannot stand. So when are we going to unify? We don't always have to agree on everything, long as we agree on some things that's critical to the functionality of the black community. Let's start with protecting our people. Where we start, what do you think is an APT presently in the various industries outside of hip hop? What do you mean when you say APT? Educate me, Kim folks. A watch diary, a watch girl diary. That's right. Tell the truth. The devil, we have to. The devil has had control over us for far too long. Let's break the chains of the devil. Nah, but for real, let's break the chains of the devil. Shamik Friedman. Elucidate for me, Kim folks, what does APT mean? Agent provocateur, APV. All right, what do you think is an agent provocateur presently in the various industries outside of hip hop? In the various industries, I don't know. I can just speak from my experience and what I'm affected by and what my folks is affected by. I don't know what's the agent provocateur in the tech sector. I don't know because I'm not there. But I can tell you what's an agent provocateur in the streets of Los Angeles in the hip hop community. We can see them. Somebody already named a few. Like, we can see them. It's evident that they're here to further an agenda that doesn't advance us as a people. If you're furthering an agenda that doesn't advance us as a people, then you're an enemy to the people. How do we know aliens didn't invent every religion? Aliens did invent every religion, man. That's why I don't subscribe to religion. Cause aliens invented every fucking religion. But I'm about to jump off this thing, man. Y'all still be blessed, man. God bless y'all and all y'all positive endeavors, and you know what I mean. May the Most High put a hedge of protection upon you and your kin folks. I'm gone.